other than learning how to play a piano, what kind of preparation you had to do to become Madhu Bose?
I learnt my lines. I read my script. बट बहुत सारी चीज़ें इंस्टिंक्टिव भी थी ऑफ कोर्स, मतलब जो भी मुझे लाइंस करनी थी बंगाली में वो किया, पियानो सीखा, बट इन द एंड इट्स a story about relationship and chemistry and a lot of other things. So he works very instinctively in terms of performance. I'm also very instinctive. I can't, ऐसे ये नहीं कर सकते सुर को लेके ना, आप ये नहीं कर सकते ये डायलॉग में ऐसे सुर में बोलूँगे, और हमारे भी जो जुगलबंदी है इन रियल लाइफ, I think we really get along. I respect him as an artist. I think so. Even he respects me.
It's so sad if you have to say it.
No, I'm kidding. No, and there is, this mutual respect, and the chemistry also shows because we really appreciate each other. The scenes are also honestly done. I am doing it honestly. He is doing it honestly. You're feeling it at the moment. And उसके कारण ना वो बस फ्लो हो गया सही तरीके से, very honestly and earnestly.
And Ruchika, how did this in my knowledge, we haven't seen a love story play out in Kolkata and Jamshedpur, and to how did this? When did you come across this script, and what made you greenlit it? And
the word greenlight that people ask us, it actually isn't one day when we hold one light and say, "Ab hum ye film kar rahe hain." I don't.
Red, orange, green.
Buzzer dabaya.
So fortunately, actually, it never works like that. I think the process on this has been so interesting. My team came across a certain 2 or 3 pager, and we tried to find a home for this with someone like Dharmatic and Vivek. And when Vivek came into it, he really lent a certain authenticity and honesty to it. And we've been wanting to do romance when it comes to movies because it is one of the hardest genres to do. So really, after Meenakshi, for Vivek to come back onto this genre, we feel it's hard because there's an honesty in these kind of stories that you can't mask. You can find a trend and say, ये चल रहा है, एकदम alpha male hero चल रहा है, चलो ये बनाते हैं.
Fast cutting चल रहा है.
Let's do this. Yeah. And I think the intention with this was to be very honest to the film. And when Vivek worked on the draft, and I always say this, when he would narrate a few scenes, so there were 4 scenes that then became one song. Because there was a musical representation of, as you've seen in Sajan Vetu, like there's a musical representation of 4 scenes. And it just is so evocative and so different. And I think the fact that we got to do this journey so closely early on when it came to casting also, I think, when it's hard to make Mr. Madhavan, I don't think look or feel, but when you look at him, I think he's got this, I told him before the cameras rolling, he's a shapeshifter. I think a regular boy looks at him and feels represented. A man who's very successful looks at him and feels represented. So he has this all-encompassing sort of quality. And therefore, I think when the audience sees him, you're like, hope hai. Life mein hope hai. And I think that's the feeling that the film also leaves you with. And but it gently, things that we take for granted are questioned, very gently. And while yes, love is at the center of it, and I think even when we came to Fatima and we wanted to cast a beautiful looking pair, and you'd wonder, koi Shri Renu ko ek aisi Madhu Bose mil sakti hai. And just like a Shri Renu is, craving for Madhu's also craving for someone like that. So as women also, we really aren't buying into necessarily buying into what you would assume is that male prototype. We are also definitely scratching deeper. So I think all of these things coming together, having Aisha Raza, Manish Chaudhary, having a very, very strong ensemble to work alongside them. And I think Vivek's strength is really that. I've never seen characters exist for, in दोनों की love story के लिए हम बाकी characters लिख देंगे. They have their own journeys, irrespective of the screen time. Just to be able to live those out is very rare. So I think really kind of supporting and buying into Vivek's vision and how beautifully the two of them just come into their own. And yes, the music, guys, I have to say this.
The music and the cinematography.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And production design is also beautiful.
Yeah, production design. We have to say that.
Parna and Debuda, incredible team. Your Meenakshi team.
Yes.
Yeah,
all
really
actually.
like come
But
with
did
the team.
Debu do Meenakshi?
Yes, Debu shot it. That was my first. Debu and मेरा first film था.
What a talent, huh? He does one Kesari too, and then he does this.
Yeah.
On the same time, he shot for it at the same time.
Yeah.
And Madhavan, the film has a very pro-feminist tone, and I think that's the best thing about the film. you have been part of love stories 20 years ago.
Right.
And now, how do you think the tone has changed? And is there somewhere you feel responsible that we should change the tone? We should highlight these things, a few things we should call out. Like your character calls out misogyny in the end.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think we were all a product of our conditioning. Without wanting to be offensive, we didn't realize that it could become offensive when you look at it from a woman's point of view. I come from a family of really strong women. My mother was a chief manager of Bank of India in a place like Bihar for 30 years. She took on goons and gundas with weapons, and she would manage to keep the branch open. I've always grown with such strong women around me. Even in this story, look at the dichotomy. He looks at his bhabiji like his mother. There is no culture in the world where you look at a bhabiji like a mother. You know, the name itself atones as somebody who is a protector and savior of your elder brother's wife, right? That same guy becomes stupidly misogynistic when it comes to dealing with his own lover, because that is a conditioning he's part of without meaning to do that. So if you look at the love stories 20 years ago, it was a product, like for example, you were saying, no, like example that you were in a dating app now, but you say, I don't prefer the dating app, you want to meet people now. Where do you meet people, bro? Where does a person like you go to meet somebody?
हम घर पे बैठे
We are not the culture where आप बार में चले गए and you met somebody and you met your life partner in a bar. आप आप पृथ्वी जाओगे, वो वहाँ पे आप मतलब क्या कर लोगे कि you can have a conversation with a woman without her thinking that you're stalking. So now, unfortunately, you're limited to a house party हो गया, you met somebody and then you wanted to change a number and then you start giving hints and वैसा होता है.
हम बाहर ही नहीं
निकलते आपको ये वही प्रॉब्लम है. तो या तो आप सेट में मिलते हो किसी से या फिर आप the whole world is revolved around the ecosystem. So in that 20-year-old love story, if he has to meet somebody and find a girl that he likes, he has no choice but to go find out where she lives and give her a letter. That's the decent way of doing it.
Back then.
Back then. But today's world, it's stalking.
Yeah.
Today you send a message on Instagram.
That's not stalking. But if you
That's
look at the
sliding.
pictures,
Sliding.
and yeah, that's sliding, right? Yeah, so so this is what I was trying to say. So for the guys to tiptoe around while everybody's having a cosmic gaggle is the tough part without wanting to be offensive. And then getting rid of your conditioning is the other part of it.